Hello. Um, this is the first of a lecture on to finish the chapter potpourri chapter. It's on self-efficacy, and hopefully you have your keywords there to go through this so you know how to spell it. Uh, but self-efficacy is a view that we have for ourselves about how effective we are in a given situation. If we see we'll be good at it or we're going to be bad at it. Uh, Self-efficacy affects effort, it affects motivation, it affects well, we decide what to do. For instance, if you're not good at bowling and somebody said let's go bowling, you go, oh, I don't want to go because your self-efficacy is low for bowling. So you make choice. Let's play tennis instead. Um, Self-efficacy is affects more to um, men. It's hard on females because females tend to take less credit for their being good at things, where males take credit even though they don't deserve it. But basically, self-efficacy is the student's belief that they can do the math problem, or they can do the homework, or they can pass a course, or whatever. So, um, self-efficacy is very important for a person's self-concept because the more self-efficacy you have, the better off you do on certain things, certain situations. So self-efficacy is how you feel, especially in education or anything, how you feel you effective you're going to be. Are you going to be good at it or not good at it? And there's four influences of self-efficacy. And inactive influence, ENACTIVE, is developed by, usually it's physical things, but inactive is you've done it before, so you know how good or bad you are at it. You cook cookies and they turn out good. Okay, I'm good at it. I shot basketballs. I never got a basket. I'm not good at it. So inactive is your decision on self-efficacy about a situation is determined by experience, how active you are on it. And usually involves success or failure in sports and stuff, but it could be on anything. But so if you've had a whole history of bad at math, then your self-efficacy in math is low because of experience. Vicarious, this is, don't confuse this with vicarious reinforcement we talked about before. Vicarious influences is you judge you're good or bad at something by watching somebody else do it. Oh my God, look how they parallel park. I'm so much better than that. Or look how they sing. I can sing better than they can sing. So vicarious is, oh my God, that person really knows how to do math. I can't do it as well. So vicarious is you judge your self-efficacy by comparing yourself to someone else. Like last year, one of the punters of Florida punted like a 12-yard punt. And I go, I can do better than that. Well, probably can't, but still. So vicarious then is comparing yourself to someone else and deciding if you're effective or not effective. Persuasion, exactly what it says. Somebody tells you you're good or bad or something, and you believe it. Doesn't have to be true, but you're a good cook, or you're good at science, or this assignment's easy for you, or you're good at taking tests. So persuasion is somebody telling you you're good or bad at something. Okay. Uh, Emotive is it doesn't matter. You just like doing it. You can be so I'm terrible at singing, but I sing anyway. Um, and so you get excited about doing a certain situation, even though you may not be good or you may be great at it, whatever the case may be. For instance, singing. I love to sing, but I can't sing. I've got a terrible voice. Um, I was a chorus in high school. I was told just to mouth the words. So um, I've actually had well, you don't do hitchhikers anymore, but when I was a kid, in college, you picked up people because they needed to ride, and a person got out of my car because they couldn't stand my singing. But emotive is that you do it because you want to do it. So your in class where you had to do 10 self-efficacies all have to be positive, and you have to have at least one example of the four. You can have six of one, six of emotive and one vicarious, one persuasion, one emotive, but you have to have all four represented in your 10. Self-efficacy affects motivation because if you don't think you're good at it, you're not going to be very motivated to do it. If you think you're really good at it, you're really motivated. Effort. If you think you're good at it, you're gonna put a lot of effort into it. If you're not gonna put any effort into it. So, so self-efficacy is very. So the idea as a teacher in education is get the self-efficacy in the positive way for your students, or in psychology the same way. If you're counseling or whatever, you want to get their self-efficacy up. The other thing that Bob talked about the chapter is internal or external locus of control. So internal locus of control is the belief that you control your actions. Your actions have consequences. External believes that you're, like we got a lot of this now going on with this virus thing, is that we have no control. It's controlled by nature, by God, by karma, by luck, some outside force. And so internally, we take credit for successes, and we're supposed to take credit for failures, and most of us don't. And then external is where we got a school of victims. It's always somebody else's fault. And so that affects a lot of some self-efficacy, because the more you have internal control, the more positive self-efficacy you have. And so it's very important that we try to get some internal control belief in the student about their, abilities. The final thing that talked about this chapter is mastery goals and performance goals. And on the test, you have to know the difference. Mastery goals is that you learn something that the teacher wants you to learn. And at the end of the term, you're supposed to learn it. But there's no time limit. You just say, okay, I want you to master this concept. And most times in classes, we talk about mastery goals. But in reality, that's a lie, fake news, because we are basically performance goals. But that means that we set up like tests. We're on a time frame, so we have to learn each chapter at a certain period of time. And so it's not mastery, even though we talk mastery, it's performance goals. Did you do the homework on time? Did you do the test on time? So mastery goals sounds really impressive, but most times we have performance goals. So that's it, and hopefully I got this thing to work. Okay.